Live from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
We are on the storm watch as an atmospheric river dumps more than a foot of rain in the North Bay, and now it's heading south with powerful winds and more flooding rain.
Down power lines, leaving more than 100,000 customers without power across the Bay Area.
And havoc on the highways. The Bay Area bridge where big rigs were blown over.
Now it's 6. We have a live look across the Bay Area as this severe storm tears its way through. Hold on, everyone. It is going to be a rough evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Juliette Goodrich.
And I'm Brian Hackney. Easily the most powerful storm of the year slamming the Bay Area tonight. Trees are down. Highways are shut. Power is out to thousands. All of this before the brunt of the gale even enters the thickly populated South Bay. That is happening now. And from there, the hugely mudslide-prone Santa Cruz Mountains will get hit with maybe a foot of rain tonight.
And we have crews out all over the Bay Area covering the hardest hit areas.
We'll begin with meteorologist Paul Hagan and Darren Pack. They're tracking the storm from every angle. Paul?
Yeah, we're going to start with the live radar view of all of that rain across the Bay Area. High-def Doppler just lit up. All of the yellow is moderate rain, orange is heavy rain, and there's plenty of that covering the entire region. We'll zoom in for a closer look at the North Bay where the rain continues to come down, and you've been seeing that moderate to heavy rain for the past basically 12 hours, and it's going to be several more hours before the rain comes to an end. So any existing flooding problems are not going to improve, and we're going to see additional flooding problems as long as that heavy rain is coming down. Still moderate to heavy rain from San Francisco southward down the peninsula and across into the East Bay. It's now even crossing over the Diablo Range with some light to moderate rain there, but raining heavily along 880, along 580, along 680. We're going to be looking at all of that rain coming down for the next several hours, and that line of heavy rain that's just in southern San Mateo County. Darren's going to talk more about that in just a second, but that indicates some even heavier rainfall rates. All these green shaded areas, which is over half the Bay Area, under urban and small stream flood advisories, we have seen a lot of rain. Over a foot of rain so far in Kentfield, over 6 inches for Santa Rosa. 3.5 inches over the last 24 hours in San Francisco, and over 3 inches of that has fallen since midnight, making this the wettest October day on record in San Francisco, and the records go back to 1850. We'll take a look at what other Bay Area cities have also set October records coming up in the full forecast. Darren has more on the South Bay right now.
Yes, Paul, I want to pick up on why that 0.08 of an inch of rain for San Jose is about to change very fast, and as you pointed out, it's a detail in the radar that you might miss if you didn't look closely at it. You see that very well organized line? That is probably the most intense part of this whole system. It's raining widespread through the Bay Area. But right within that little line right there is where you're going to find the heaviest rain, and it's also where you're going to find the strongest wind. That's the narrow cold front rain band. It's the leading edge of this whole system. And we can track the progression of this over the next few hours by looking at that. You can see it on the Futurecast. It's subtle, but that's it right there. That gets us to 6 o'clock. This is just now moving into Santa Clara County and southernmost Alameda County. It's just dragged its way across San Mateo County over the course of the last hour or so, where you've seen some of your heaviest rain. So as that continues to march south, not only does the heavier rain move south with it, but the strongest winds are also going to move south with it as well. And you can see how things start to clear out by the time we get to tomorrow. We'll talk more about the winds, and we'll go into more detail on the rest of the forecast coming up in just a bit, guys. For now, back to you.
All right, Darren and Paul, thank you. Now let's go live to KPIX 5's Kenny Choi, where parts of downtown San Rafael were underwater. Kenny.
Juliette, that's right. The conditions are a little bit better right now. The water has receded a little bit. About an hour ago, the water level was about right here. Now it has gone down quite a bit. This is 1st and B Street. It was a lot worse. Take a look at some of the video from earlier this afternoon as cars tried to pass through this street. San Rafael police also blocked off several streets nearby because it was impassable because of the extreme flooding. We did find some people walking around town just kind of curious to see what was happening out here on the streets of San Rafael.
I'm actually enjoying it a little bit, you know, because we didn't have rain for so long. And I am prepared with my galoshes.
I know it's bad, but we don't get much water, and we really need it right now. It's really nice to know that at least our reservoirs will get a nice little gulp.
All right, so it's not just the city streets that are flooded. We also saw on Highway 101 as we were driving through Corte Madera. Some lanes blocked off there due to the extreme flooding. Back out here live. This car just put onto this tow truck not too long ago. We saw San Rafael police checking to see whether anyone was inside because that car was actually in the middle of the road. Before that, it was actually off to the side, so the water actually made that car move into the middle of the street. And also over here on this side, that car is now parked on the sidewalk. It was not too far out from there before, so you can see how the water has shifted some of these cars, and so making it for a dangerous situation here in San Rafael. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, Kenny, it's certainly deceiving when that water gets high, and we know authorities are telling people to avoid driving if possible. What are folks saying about these driving conditions that are still out there on the road?
Right, so one of the dangerous things that can happen on the road is that you can't see some of the hazards like potholes. We actually ran into one that caused a flat tire for us. But there are all these different situations with the trees coming down. They're just saying try to avoid the roads if you can and stay home. We also talked to some drivers trying to pass through who took their chances. But after getting through, they did say that they felt like they weren't going to make it through. Yeah. So you just never know. If you can, avoid those flooded streets.
Well, case in point with your live shot there. Kenny, thank you. And let's switch now to KPIX 5's Max Darrow and neighbors on high alert in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Max.
Juliet, we have entered a really important window here of this storm here in the Santa Cruz Mountains that's likely going to set the stage for what a potential debris flow could look like. That's why we've got Marin fire crews here, all the way from Marin, 75 miles away, here stationed, highly specialized personnel in case search and rescue efforts are needed out here. The conditions have gotten worse over the last hour out here, but the big concern is two areas within the CZU burn scar, the Boulder Creek area and the Swanton area here in Santa Cruz County. And some people didn't evacuate. Even though evacuation orders came down, there were plenty of people who decided to stay home. A CAL FIRE deputy chief told me that if you hear a burn, or if you hear the debris flow coming, it is too late to evacuate. This is what some of the crews from Marin told us today.
We'll know by probably 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Tonight, with the rains and winds coming through, it's anyone's guess on what's going to occur, but we're ready for the potential.
No word on whether or not these burn scar areas have been affected just yet, or I should say they told us they haven't been affected just yet, but these crews are stationed and ready to go if and when that call comes in. Guys.
Alrighty, thank you, Max. Max has got some water at his microphone. Here's a look at the PG&E power outage map. Right now, more than 140,000 customers are without power across the Bay Area. Red triangles are where it's really bad. Marin and Sonoma County and the peninsula are seeing the most power outages. A lot of them caused by scenes like that. Falling trees are knocking down power lines, and the result is that you get small fires starting. That happening in San Mateo just hours ago. It caused a lot of sparking and that small fire. Some towns in Marin County are keeping an eye on the rising creeks and streams at this hour. That's a shot of the Fairfax Creek at the town hall. The creek and others nearby in Ross and San Anselmo have reached minor flood stage. Another big concern, all the debris in the water. That can cause backups along the creek, and that could lead to neighborhood flooding. And take a look at the scene in Santa Rosa's Bennett Valley neighborhood. Cars driving through muddy, ankle-deep water, flooding porches and front yards, and even drowning some Halloween pumpkins. KPIX 5's Don Lynn is along the flood-prone Russian River. Don, when we get this much rain, that river can spike, but quick. What's it doing now?
Yeah, going up very quickly. You know, this storm, this downpour we have not seen a break here in the North Bay. It's been raining nonstop all day since early this morning. And I think that's why the Russian River here in Guerneville has risen so much. We're talking about 10 to 15 feet. It's quite a bit compared to yesterday. Some of the biggest issues that we're seeing here in the North Bay, downed trees, power outages, and flooded streets. From bad crashes to mudslides, the storm made North Bay driving very dangerous. West of Santa Rosa, rainwater flooded Slusher Road near River Road. Many trucks made it through, but not this car. The woman tried to back up. The engine died.
Since there was no road closed sign, no one waved me down to stop me. I was like, oh, I'll be fine. No, I'm not fine.
Cynthia Lux was stuck for about 10 minutes, and it became unsafe.
The second that the water started entering the car, that's when I was like, okay. And then I got to the seat, and I was like, yep, we're getting out of the car now.
This was how it looked 3 hours later, the taillights underwater.
It was my husband's first car. He loves this car to death, never wanted to sell this car. And I called him, he's like, so you drowned my car? And I was like, well, not intentionally.
Aside from flooded streets, the downpour reduced visibility and made it hard to drive on Highway 101. This was one of many bad accidents around noon in Petaluma. The driver was alert, but in too much pain to get out. An ambulance rushed him to the hospital.
It was a downpour, it was deluge. We had, we have a rain gauge there, and we had 5, almost 6 inches in about 16 hours.
Other road hazards include downed trees and mudslides, and we saw plenty throughout the North Bay. A part of River Road outside of Forestville was covered by this slide. And not too far away, a tree landed on Rubber Bubba's 2 cars and caused small damage to his house.
It's been years of dry weather. These trees, they weren't ready for that much weight from the rain. And then, the wind was probably just the last straw.
Robert says despite a rough night, he's glad no one was hurt.
Woke up and the power was out, so I don't know when it went out, but it was sometime in the night.
When do you guys expect to have power back?
Not a clue.
No.
The whole town of Forestville's out right now, and that never happens.
Authorities are asking for patience because first responders are going from call to call to call. They say mudslides or downed trees that aren't affecting too many people, those might have to wait for a few days before they can clear up. Bottom line, if you don't have to leave the house, stay home, stay dry, and be safe. For now, live in Guerneville, I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Doc, thanks so much. Now, taking a live look at our wet Bay Area bridges and a warning to drivers out there during these storms. This video from the San Rafael Bridge, a semi-truck has been overturned on the lower deck for hours now. And video from around 1 this afternoon also shows a smaller RV also overturned. Crews are telling drivers to take extra caution. And in the San Rafael area, our KPIX 5 photojournalist spotted crews attending to this car that just slid off the road and right into a ditch.
And we're getting a look at more storm damage across the Bay Area, including a 100-foot tree in danger of crashing into several homes. Coming up, where crews are scrambling to cut it down.
And where crews are already having to rescue those trapped by rising floodwaters.
Not only looks stormy, it sounds it. The high winds creating a haunting sound, perfect for a stormy October day in the Bay Area.
And when we're not on air, we've got the latest on news and weather on KPIX.com, where you can also stream CBSN Bay Area anytime.
Hi, I'm Susan Kenyon, a Kaiser Permanente Medicare specialist here in California. My mission is to make sure you get high-quality, affordable Medicare health coverage.
That's why Kaiser Permanente Medicare health plans have zero annual deductible, $0 dental and fitness benefits, plus no-cost generic drug mail orders.
And that's why, with Kaiser Permanente, you also get the convenience of hospital care, medical services, and prescription drug coverage all in one plan.
Plus, your choice of hundreds of available Kaiser Permanente doctors, including specialists.
I'm also proud to tell you that here in California, Medicare has given Kaiser Permanente's Medicare health plan a 5 out of 5-star rating for the 10th year in a row. That's Medicare's highest possible rating.
Call 1-877-653-4308 or go to kp.org/local now.
You love to cook, but you don't love to grind. So you get Home Chef. All the ingredients for mouth-watering meals that you make in minutes. You still feel the heat, but not enough to get out of the kitchen. From 10-minute fast and fresh meals to 30-minute meal kit masterpieces, there's always something amazing to cook with Home Chef. Delicious? Meet simple. Get $80 off your first month at homechef.com.
Welcome back, loved ones, this Thanksgiving with the help of Living Spaces, where you'll find a variety of collections that are ready to enjoy now. Choose from designs that offer the value, quality, and style you need to create an environment for gathering and celebrating. Bring each space to life in time for the holiday with in-stock pieces that are available as soon as tomorrow, thanks to free next-day shipping. Let us deliver your perfect Thanksgiving only at Living Spaces.
Living Spaces.
I want to show you something here. Strong winds collapsed some scaffolding in San Francisco. This happened today in the Soma district by Natoma and 9th Streets, and you can see the amount of damage done to the scaffolding. Crews are working to clean up the mess right now, and fortunately, no one was hurt. Public Works crews are keeping busy across San Francisco. They've been cleaning up dozens of downed trees. KPIX 5 reporter Devin Feely continues our team coverage.
There are many stories of this storm depending on what part of the viewing area you're in the North Bay, the East Bay, in the Santa Cruz Mountains. In the city of San Francisco, the story has been downed trees and all of the disruption that causes. The fire department evacuated several people along 9th Avenue in San Francisco, concerned that this teetering 100-foot tree might topple onto the homes nearby.
It's putting some houses in jeopardy in terms of it could fall on the houses. It's one of dozens of trees that have come down throughout the rainstorm.
The plan was to cut down the tree as soon as Public Works crews could get the equipment into place. They had been responding all day to a seemingly never-ending series of reports of broken limbs and toppled trees.
Trees jeopardizing homes. We've been with blocked roadways, with wires down. This is something we were expecting with this storm in terms of trees coming down.
When the outer edge of the storm arrived in San Francisco, it walloped the city with gusting winds and heavy rain. And trees weakened by nearly 2 years of drought were simply no match.
I think we need to live with the consequences of rain, too. The fact that we've had a deficit of rain for so long, I think we need to live with the idea that there are consequences with having, adequate rain.
But despite the rain and damage, many say they would gladly weather the disruptions of the storm if it brings us closer to finally ending the drought.
Yes, there will be a few things like power outages and trees falling down, which I know is unfortunate, but I have faith that the city will clean that up quickly.
In San Francisco, Devin Feely, KPIX 5.
On this wettest day in 170 years of record-keeping for October in the North Bay, it's no wonder they were caught by surprise by rising floodwaters in the Russian River. This happened in Cloverdale this morning. Water rescue crews called out to help people along the river. They were camping on a small island when the water came up fast and cut them off.
Oh, it just comes so fast. I mean, there's no hope. I mean, it just comes fast. Like you would not believe, man. Yeah, Mother Nature, she tries to pre-warn us, I mean.
Well, everybody did make it back to dry land safely.
This is what one of our photographers heard as he crossed the Golden Gate Bridge, an eerie whistle from those gale-force winds.
Been around ever since they did a bit of a, retrofit to the Golden Gate Bridge, and the result, those harmonics that with high winds produces that sound. It's producing a heck of a lot more than just that. And we've got Darren Peck and Paul Hagen standing by with the latest, guys.
Yeah, this atmospheric river certainly has not underperformed. If anything, it's exceeded even our lofty expectations for how much rain we would receive out of the system, and the rain continues to fall. Let's take a look at all of the reports that we've had. All these dots are either wind damage or flooding reports from the last 12 hours, and you can see all of the different reports coming in from across the entire Bay Area. One of those within the past couple of hours, 680 southbound in the East Bay, Willow Pass Drive. Apparently some flooding crossing 680 at that point. Let's zoom in for a closer look at the North Bay, Santa Rosa, Kentfield, San Rafael, Napa. You've all recorded your wettest October days on record, and those records go back variably. Again, San Francisco has the longest database going back to 1850, and it's the wettest day on record in October in the city as well. The rain continues to come down in San Francisco, down the peninsula, and across the Bay, even farther inland in the East Bay. Some heavier rain now falling, and that heavier rain is making more and more progress into the South Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. Still light to moderate rain around San Jose, but it's been coming down at a greater clip in Santa Clara, messing up the Niners game, and that heavier rain is now making its way deeper into the Santa Cruz Mountains, potentially affecting the CZU burn burn scar. We'll zoom out for a wider look and put everything in motion here, and you can just see that atmospheric river, just that hose of moisture aiming right over the Bay Area with very little drift southward over the past few hours. This is going to be a very slow process for the rain to gradually wind down. We have all of these urban and small stream flood advisories across the Bay Area. Some of these expire at 7, some at 8, but they're likely to be extended just because the rain continues to fall on already saturated ground. This is some video. This is from Twitter, and you can share your video with us on Twitter using the hashtag KPIX, or you can tag me. I'm at Paul KPIX. This is from Rob Wiley in Yountville. This is Hopper Creek overflowing its banks and making its way into Oak Circle. That is a lot of rain. We also have B. Dalton shared this video earlier from Vallejo. This is westbound 37. You want to be very careful making your way out and about. And this is from 680 earlier in the day with multiple accidents in the northbound lanes. So both sides of that interstate have been messed up by the rain. We will continue to cover what's happening now, but Darren wants to take a look ahead at what's happening, starting with a look at when the rain might finally come to an end.
By tomorrow morning, Paul. But for right now, the South Bay is finally getting in on the act. This system has really had it in for the North Bay all day. But if you look at the futurecast, and we're going to pick this up here in the 6 o'clock hour, where's that line of heaviest rain concentrated now on the leading edge? Going right through Santa Clara County into Alameda County. And what we can do now is take the progression of that rain and bring it forward over the next few hours. And there's a clear pattern here. It's still going to be raining pretty much Bay Area wide. But there are some places that are going to notice the heavier rain continue to move through over the remainder of tonight. So the focus on that's going to be Santa Clara County, Alameda County, and then up into the peninsula. So we'll leave behind what we've got set up now on the Futurecast, and I want to advance that through the remainder of today. So let's watch what happens. That band of heaviest rain finally clearing the Santa Clara Valley and progressing to the south. Watch the back edge. That also gives you a break. But the reason why we're concerned down here in the South Bay is now we're going to get a prolonged period of rain, not only for the communities of San Jose and Santa Clara, but you're also going to get a long-duration rain event on the Santa Cruz Mountains. That's why we keep saying the CZU burn scars risks are still to come. And the downside to that is those risks in terms of debris flow are going to come under the cover of darkness tonight. Just like we heard the firefighters with Marin who'd gone all the way down there, and Max Darrow was speaking with them. They said, we really won't know how this plays out till tomorrow morning in the light of day. The other item is the wind, and you can see that well-defined line with the heaviest rain also clears the South Bay. So the worst of the wind, which has blown over so many trees across the entire Bay Area today, still has to clear the South Bay. That means in Santa Clara County and southernmost Alameda County, plan on more sporadic power outages. It's one thing to get the trees that go down as an obstacle, but the other aspect of it are the power outages. And for the South Bay, that's still your story for the next few hours. And there's the outline of the CZU burn scar, and you can see how the heaviest rain, we're going to take this from right now. We've already gotten rain there now, but watch what happens from now into the overnight hours. The totals really go up. So we're going to pick up about 5 inches of rain there. And just to show you what we're up against, the size of this storm, if you've heard bomb cyclone in the media, or social media, friends talking about it, that's it. It's really far too ominous of a term. It just tells you that the center of low pressure here intensified really fast over 24 hours. We're not going to feel that. But what that does is it acts like an anchor. And the center of that storm reaches back into the subtropics, and it's what's pulling in all the moisture. It's why we've got the atmospheric river, and it's directing the atmospheric river right at us. That's how we ended up with this scenario, and you can see what it looks like there as we put it into the Futurecast. All right, tomorrow morning lows go back down into the low and mid-50s. The daytime highs, when we're done with the rain, by the way, we will finish with this rain after the morning commute tomorrow. That's when the last of the showers will come to an end. And then we'll see daytime highs that will climb back up into the low and mid-60s. And as we look across the 7-day forecast, you're going to see a much better looking setup for most of next week. We'll be done with the rain, second half of tomorrow, and then there's no more rain. You can see San Francisco and San Jose coming up next, and that's a big improvement in terms of where we are for drying out. Great news on that. We'll have more on this coming up in the next half hour, guys. For now, Vern, over to you.
All right, and we're going to take it here just real quickly. We've been on the Storm Watch coverage all day on CDSN Bay and on KPIX.com. We've been bringing you live updates and the latest forecasts from Paul Hagan and And our live coverage of this atmospheric river will continue into the evening. Live radar, storm coverage, reports on CBSN Bay Area and KPIX.com. Darren Peck will also be covering our morning news at 4:30 a.m. bright and early in the morning.
And straight ahead in sports, while the 49ers are trying to contain the Colts, the Raiders' Vegas show kept trending up. What a performance in back-to-back double-digit wins.
And desperate time calls for desperate measures. Check out these people using brooms to battle floodwaters at 31st in California. We have more Storm Watch coverage just ahead.
What's happening at this North Bay port?
Don't touch my camera.
Not only are we getting airborne contamination, but we're also getting contamination in the water.
Tomorrow at 7, how activists claim they caught a bay polluter in the act.
With a toxic waste dirtier than coal.
Well, there's evidence.
And I immediately sent out a letter to everybody I knew.
You see it coming from the worst types of petroleum production.
Tomorrow at 7 on KPIX 5 News. Expect more.
This is the Tempur-Pedic Breeze, and its mission is to make sleep feel cool. So no more night sweats, no more nocturnal baking, no high blast ceiling fans, or polar ice cap air conditioner mode. Because the Tempur-Pedic Breeze delivers superior cooling from cover to core, helping you sleep cool all night long.
The best place to buy a Tempur-Pedic mattress is at Mancini Sleep World, a recognized Tempur elite retailer. Visit one of our 34 locations near you.
Alcohol and opiate abuse took me down quickly. Mountain Vista Farm saved my life.
Since 1949, people in need of help with a drug or alcohol problem have come to a serene place called Mountain Vista Farm. Call Mountain Vista Farm today.
Ready for some fun this fall? Start with a new Toyota. It's time to reconnect with family and friends and rediscover everything you've been missing. New Toyotas are arriving daily. Get low financing on the 36 MPG Highlander Hybrid and 39 MPG Venza. Or get $500 cash back when you finance with Toyota on the 52 MPG Camry Hybrid. Toyota. Let's go places.
Diamonds at their lowest prices in years. Half-carat solitaires are now $4.99. 1 carat $9.90. 2 carat $12.50 per carat, plus 1 carat studs $5.99. And the guaranteed lowest prices on thousands of GIA diamonds. Buy direct. The Jewelry Exchange, Redwood City.
NFL up top in Week 7 business. Got plenty of time to address the 49ers later. Let's talk about the Raiders. In the books where they scored 30 unanswered points. They hosted the Eagles. Tight end Darren Waller could not go. Had a little ankle issue. When we pick it up second quarter, it was next man up, like Foster Moreau on National Tight End Day. Look, nice grab. Tied the game up at 7. Now, under 2 minutes to go in the half, Josh Jacobs bounced outside, raced to the corner and scored. 14-7 Vegas. Jacobs walked off with a trainer with a chest injury, did not return. Now, Philly needed a spark to start the third quarter. Tried to go for the onside kick, but Alec Ingold was ready for it. Yeah, the fullback. The Raiders took over and took advantage of a short field. Kenyon Drake up the middle. Touchdown, 24-7 Vegas, then 30-7. Philly got to the goal line, tried to punch it in, but look here. All kinds of meltdown issues. The bobble botch snap. Raiders won this one 33-22. They're 5-2 for the season and 2-0 in the Rich Bisaccia era.
We are having fun. You know, it is something that we're preaching, man. Have fun, have a blast. We work too hard to go out there uptight and all that. Man, be free, have fun, cut it loose. And like I said, winning is what makes it fun. But, you know, I think that the guys are making plays, and the expression, you know, the swagger that our team is showing is coming out, and it's fun.
NHL, Sharks looking sure with that Captain C on his sweater. Sharks in their undefeated fields at Boston today. And the Bruins came out firing. Got it out of one corner to an open David Pastrnak, who scored and found the net to make it 3-0. Boston hung on to win 4-3. It handed San Jose their first loss for the season. The Sharks record now 4-1. They're still winning. Warriors playing later. They're still winning. 49ers,